Hi, this is Jackie Young. I'm here with my mother-in-law, Barbara Young, and we're going to take a glimpse into African American history as told by her experience with the Baltimore riots. Okay. Mom, tell me your experience on April the 6th. Where were you and what happened?
I was visiting with a sister, and we heard a lot of fire trucks going. We didn't know what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we turned on the news, and the riot first started in East Baltimore on Gay Street. It was on fire there.
Oh, wow.
And I left her house and I went home.
Okay, and when you went home, what was the atmosphere like in the streets? What did you encounter on your way
There
home?
was a lot of fire trucks and all police everywhere. And I was in a taxi, and I didn't live too far from my sister. So I lived on the other side of Madonna. So I got home safely, and I went in, and I locked my doors because on the TV they asked people to get off the streets to get home and to lock your doors. Then they went into details on the news of what was happening. But they couldn't cover all the streets because then they started hitting the malls, all the stores on all of the streets, and everything. Everything started burning within a matter of hours.
Wow.
They had the city on fire.
And what were some of the things that you seen, like with the stores and things? What were your neighbors and things doing?
Well, with the stores, if you went out, you could see people in rental trucks. They were cleaning out the stores. After they cleaned out the liquor stores, the cleaners, and all furniture stores, then they set them on fire.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of people were killed, but they didn't mention all the people that might have died because some people was trapped in the fire that was in their ceiling.
Wow.
And so you tried to get off the streets and stay off the streets and let the police and the National Guards came in to do their job.
Okay, and I understand that Spiro Agnew was the governor at the time.
Yes.
And he also called in over 500 Maryland State Police.
Yes, they did.
So to keep the streets clear, I understand that there was a curfew. What time, do you remember what time the curfew was?
Well, the curfew started, they wanted you off the streets in the evening when it got dark.
Okay.
Where I worked, we used to have 3 shifts.
Mm-hmm.
So the company decided to cut out the third shift and let 2 shifts run.
Okay.
Well, they got in touch with the police department. They say that would be okay. And that we had to have slips from the company. And when we got on the buses, then we went straight home.
Okay.
And that was to make sure we could get home okay.
Did you ever have any problems going home after the curfew with your slip? Did the police harass you or anything like that?
Never had a problem. Never had a problem with anything because we left from the company and went straight home because you couldn't be on the streets or anything. And if you had to have that sheet showing that you had been to work and that you were heading home from work.
Okay.
See, so
And
it wasn't a problem with that.
the riot lasted from April the 6th to the 14th.
Yes.
By
By that time, the whole city was burning. The whole city was burning, and everywhere you went, there were police and National Guards, and they were just patrolling up and down the streets, and the fire trucks. It was so bad that the fire trucks just went back to the fire department, and they let everything burn out because there was no way they could control the fire.
Wow, that's just. So how did that make you feel? You're mourning the loss of a great civil rights leader, and then you see your people basically destroying their own neighborhood. How did that make you feel?
It was sad. It was really sad, and a lot of black leaders, black people in the city was trying to tell people, but you didn't want to get involved because you could get yourself hurt. To stop that. Martin Luther King was not about that. And that's how a lot of it calmed down. that a lot of black politicians came out, went on the air. They had to call them in and ask them to come out and to talk to the people.
Wow.
And to ask them to please stop doing it because you destroyed the whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They destroyed neighborhoods.
So it was black and white businesses, from what I have researched, at Mondawmin and Pennsylvania Avenue downtown. How did they distinguish between a black business and a white business?
They tore all business. When they first started, it didn't make any difference whose business it was.
Wow.
They just went in, they were stealing, they were looting. You could see people with little wagons carrying refrigerators, carrying sofas, and all that stuff down the streets, furnishing their own homes. There was one woman in East Baltimore, was on the news, she furnished a complete house.
Wow.
And it was hard to believe that you see your people doing these things. And those that didn't want any part of it, they just stayed in their homes.
I just think that since Martin Luther King stood for nonviolence,
yes,
to have, people turn and just do violence amongst one another. It's just...
It was awful. And if you got in their way, they didn't care. They would hurt you.
Wow.
So you just had to get out of the way. And even to this day, a lot of people never recovered from that. We had a beautiful city. And to see it, when you walked out after the burning and all of that, and just see buildings completely destroyed. And the only thing they could do after that is to tear them down.
Now with the looting, I know that, not everyone kept everything. Did you partake in any, not as far as stealing any?
Oh no, I would never steal. But I did get a 4-slice toast for $2. and it lasted me for over 25 years. I just got tired of using it and threw it away. But we didn't go in for the televisions and all that stuff. We wouldn't do anything like that.
Right. Well, in closing, what would you say to young people today about nonviolence and just looking back at the riots? What could have been done differently in your eyes?
I would say if men like Martin Luther King and the Kennedys, if they were still alive, I think we would have a different country than what we have today. We wouldn't have the drugs. We wouldn't have young people killing the way they do, and I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad that we are the way we are, and we have to live with this.
Do you think us having our first black president is on our way to healing from losing such a great leader as Martin Luther King?
Never. No, I don't believe that.
You don't think we'll ever recover from
I
that?
don't think we'll ever recover from that. And it's great that we have a black president. And but I don't see another black president. Not in my lifetime. I don't see it.
Right.
And if we do, it'll be great. But the people today, young people today, have no knowledge or anything of. They were supposed to be teaching black history in school, but I don't know what they taught them. Because apparently they didn't learn anything.
Right.
They didn't learn anything. And to see the way they are today is just destructive. Yeah. They're very destructive. Yeah. And that wasn't Martin Luther King.
That wasn't.
He was not that type of man. I mean, if it was anything, well, he died for us.
Right.
He died for his beliefs. And that we should be free.
Right.
And when we say freedom, it was to enable us to live where we want to live because we earned the money, to buy what we want, to go into any store we wanted to go into and shop, that's what Martin Luther King was for. That's what the civil rights movement was
about.
That's what it was about.
Well, I just want to thank you for sharing your glimpse of history with me and my professor. And I just thank you for just being a great mom and sharing your wisdom with us.
Oh, I thank you. I thank you for having a daughter like you.
Oh.
And granddaughters and grandsons like the ones I have. I'm very honored. I'm blessed.